Hi, I'm Rose. My real name is Roos Barijn, but that's a Dutch name, so a lot of people can't pronounce it, so Rose is okay. I was a long time was going to Tony Parsons, so I was really in a search of, and my way of searching was a lot of time was like personal growth. So I looked at myself and felt my feelings and things like that. And I was also a teacher in that, or I gave meetings about that. And then I had an ability about seeing things with people, so seeing the aura or things of people. And then suddenly in the meeting, everything fell away. So that was, in a way, it was annoying because everybody was, no, not everybody. I was more like, oh, what's going on and what can I do now? But for most of the people, they didn't even notice, I think. And it was just, it went to a conversation. And it was also a relief. Maybe you know the same thing, but it was a relief not to have that thing going on to know, somewhere to know, but still there was a me going on. And that did go on for years. And after that time, it was not that, how can you say, that strong anymore, but it still went on. And then there was a moment, you could say the story, because it's also talking in the story, and I will explain later why I do that. It's in the story, then I was somewhere, and then suddenly there was just everything. There was, and it's so, you can't explain it. It's just, there was no me, but in that, I can say it now, but in that moment, I even didn't know there was no me. There was just something not going on anymore, and it was just everything. And it was huge, and it was normal in the same time. It was very obvious that there never has been a me. It was so obvious and so normal, and I couldn't even believe there had always been that belief that I was someone. It's so obvious, it's so normal. And in a few years, I couldn't speak about it. I didn't speak about it. I couldn't say, I didn't have the words. And then maybe after a few years, I can't remember so much the time, then some people, I was talking to some people, and they asked me to give meetings in my home. So we did it with a few people, and then it all started like that. And now I've written a book also that will be published in Holland now in February next year. And I'm busy with an English version, so maybe, I don't know if it's going on, but we will see, I hope so. So, and what was also very obvious, and that's a thing I don't hear so many people talking about when it's about spiritual teachers or non-dualistic teachers, that there is no world. There's only an apparent world. That's also very obvious. And then, so nothing is going on. Nothing did happen. So it was not that here in this body there is no rose anymore. There never has been a rose. It's only in the story you could say there's a rose and there's a body and she's walking, but there's nothing going on. Everything is just apparent. It seems to be very real, but it's not. That's also very normal and very simple, and in the same time, it's mind-blowing, of course. So that's what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Rose. Yeah, upon this, I call it the apparent happening that did not happen that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no apparent Emerson, and there was never an Emerson. Was there ever a Rose, or what was the story? Why is the story of Rose, Emerson, or the me so persistent?
There is a lot invested in. When there's a me, then me is, you could say, it's part of the survival system. It's the the boss, you could say. And then when it's the boss, it's helping, you could say, to survive, to go on, to, because there's when there's separation, there's somewhere a huge loss, but there's also something, a feeling like there's something gone wrong. I'm not all right. There's something going on about that, and there's a huge drive to make it right, to look for something what is missing. So that something what is missing, there's a lot of survival mechanisms are from very young are also embodied. It's not only in the mind, but it's embodied, that it's really important to make your life work, to make it safe, to come home, or anything what you think you're missing. So that, and there's a lot of investment in going on in it, because everything seems very real. So also the search is very real, and there's also always somewhere a disappointment, and then it's going on again. So it's an endless search, of course, but for when there's a me, it doesn't feel endless, because it has to happen, it has to go on. So that's so much invested in. So when there's talking about there's no me, that's a real threat, because then the identity is attacked, you could say. And wow, that, for me, I remember that was, I couldn't hear that. I just couldn't. There was just no way. I thought I understood everything, but that part I couldn't. The me can't understand, can't hear it. It's just it is clear when there's no me, but when there's a me, there's still something going on, like survival, or yeah, this maybe it's subtle. It's becoming more subtle, but normally it's really, it's an energetic thing. It's not knowing there's no me. It's an energetic thing. When there's no me here, you could say there's no me here, then nothing is going on about wanting to change something, but it's not that I'm saying to myself, oh, it doesn't need to change. It's just not coming up. So it's an energetic thing that doesn't happen anymore. And when there's a concept and an understanding about there's no me, then there's still an awareness and thing going on, like, oh, this is the best way, or something. And maybe in the words it's different, but there's a little thing still going on. Can be very subtle.
That story of me, or that energetic me, is so convincing. I was watching this movie just right now. It's called The Haunting of Light. It's a ghost story. So the ghost wakes up, sleeps, walks back and forth. It's like that. I'm like, that's like a me. That it wakes up, and it's the same thing. It has this gravity of anger or something. This ghost going back and forth. And that's what reminds me of that. It was
that's the same. But it seems so real. It's so normal. We're so grown up in it. It's so the world. It seems like a whole world, like with people in it. Yeah.
So fascinating, the story of me. But this is the number one question that gets asked all the time.
Yeah.
What is there such a thing as free will?
No, of course not. No, because when there's no me, then there's also no free will. But no me seems to see that's a lot. That's what I had, and I notice a lot of people have. No me seems to be something. So there is someone, there's Rose, and she has no me anymore, something like that. That's what I thought it was. So I want that. I wanted to something like that. It has, but I don't feel that now, and I don't know that. So no, it's still not happened, and I couldn't hear it's already there, because I thought, no, not here, something like that. And so when there was that search, I always thought there's also a free will to make it happen, because otherwise, how can I do it? Because when there's a me, the me is the doer. The me is the only thing the me can is do something or not do something. So what can I do or what cannot do, or things like that? So free will is part of that also. So free will is the same as the identity. It's really important that I have a free will, because then my life is in control. It's my life, and the whole system is that. When they said there's no free will, it's not just a concept or a way of speaking. It's there is no one. There is the funny thing is, I don't see someone over there. So I see a body, I see glasses or something like that. But I don't see someone, and their own. And we are so used to see. Oh, but inside there's someone. I don't see it inside. There is just this, and that's it. And we are so used to abstract things that inside there is someone. No, there is no inside. There is no outside. There is just what's happening, and it's so literally. But we are so used to the abstract thinking and interpretation things that is not. It doesn't feel like interpretation, because you think inside the body isn't an interpretation. That's just how it is. No, it isn't. There is no inside. There is just, I see body. That's it. I see, and not all the time. I don't see body all the time. So there is also no one. So when there's no one, there is no free will. There is no need for free will, because when there's free will, it seems that you can make your life work or make things better, or maybe try to lose your me or anything. But you don't need to do that, because this is already it. That's also it seems very complicated, but it's very simple. Like, this is it. Not like, oh, this is a paradise or something like that. This is it. This is maybe a feeling of stress, or just sitting or moving, or this is it. And that there's no need to change, because there's nothing wrong, of course. But we are so used to look at ourselves, and that belief of there's something gone wrong and there's something missing is so embodied. So there has to be a search. It can't be this. It can't be this. Yes, it is. It is. It is. It is. That's the craziness of it. It's like, oh my God, this is it already. And that's when there's nothing trying to change it or nothing going on about that. Then suddenly life is like, oh God, maybe you could say life is celebrating. You can see it in little children also. It's just celebrating in anything, in anger, in anything. Just the way it goes. It happens. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. It's like nothing interviewing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just words and energy going on. Yeah. Oh, wait. I don't hear you anymore.
Oh, just a second.
Oh, yeah.
But nothing is happening.
No.
And when the seeker, the character seeker, was obsessed about trying to figure out free will. But when this apparent happening happened, it was just the most obvious thing. I was like, there is no such thing as free will, because there's no one here.
Yeah.
And how come it's so hard? Because when someone asked me that question, I just basically said, there's no one here. I can't explain it more.
Yeah.
Because there's no one here. There's no one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the seeker wants to figure it out, what free will is.
Sure.
Why is that?
Because maybe it thinks it when there's knowing and understanding, then it's sure. Because this is not about being sure. But in the beginning, when there was no me, there was still stress in the body, and I thought, oh my God, the me is back. And then there was nothing going on about those thoughts, and then they disappeared again, and just things going on. And then those thoughts didn't come up anymore. And then afterwards, I thought, oh, it's not about being sure. It's just nothing going on about it. So, and the me is the only thing the me knows is that knowing is, then it's sure. or not knowing, that's awful. I don't, not knowing is like, oh my God, and everything is, oh, it's, everybody knows in a way. There's only not knowing, because when we're looking around, we don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen next day or next hour or something. But still, there's a huge feeling of loss. So you want to feel safe. So knowing is one of the options to make it feel more safe, or yeah, maybe that's more safe or more comfortable, things like that. Yeah, it's always for a while. It's also temporarily, but yeah.
Another thing that everybody talks about is meditation. Um,
Mm,
this
mm,
character was a big meditator. I even taught meditation for a
yeah.
living at one point. I would put on 40 days of meditation. And
Mm,
this, when a parent happening apparently happened, I
yeah.
don't really meditate anymore, because I know that meditation, not even knowing, but it's just
Mm,
something that, do you think, to make a long question short,
yeah.
this is really debated upon, is meditation or practices necessary for this apparent happening?
Nothing is necessary, of course, because it's already this. So that's the strange thing. The me can't hear that this is already it. And when there's meditating, there can be meditating. So what? There's nothing wrong or right with meditating. It's just meditating, sitting somewhere, staring. I don't know what other way. But when that is happening, that's happening. That's just what life can do, you could say. But there's no need for anything. That's the big message. Like, oh my God, this is already it. That doesn't mean that it's only bliss, because that's what the me searches. That's all the time bliss, or all the time happiness, or no pain anymore, or no suffering anymore. But this is everything. It's everything. So it's just, in a way, it's so simple, and sometimes it's difficult to explain, because it's, in a way, it's too simple, because it's just everything. It's just the moving. Nothing is excluded. That's the joy. That's the freedom also. That's the unconditional love, because unconditional love means it's everything. There's nothing, this is okay and this is not okay. It's just everything. That's also the longing, that it's just everything. It's really, it's like, oh my God, that's the longing. But it's also the threat, because we are so used to think, oh, the pain, I don't want that anymore. But there can be pain, but maybe it's even more. It's even more full on, you could say. But there's nothing going on about that. It's just pain. And it's not pain in this body. It's just pain somewhere. There's, the body is there and not there. It's not a solid body. There is no solid. Nothing is solid. So pain happens in the room or in space. So, and it's not your pain, my pain. It's just pain. So it's not wrong. It's just pain. And the funny thing is, when there's nothing going on about it, then there's also no suffering, because the suffering is like, oh, I don't want this, and what can I do, and the whole thing going on. That's the suffering. That's not there anymore. But still, there's pain and stress, can be in the body, or in the apparent body, or anything. Anger, rest, watching television, anything. It's just normal, very normal. It's even more, it's so normal. There's nothing going on about this is better than that. So it's just not so much going on. It's just doing some shopping and nothing, not so much happening.
I agree. It's very extraordinarily ordinary.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh wow, this is it.
yeah, yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
well.
just, I'm like, but it's also really freeing and liberating that this is it.
Mm.
Hopelessness,
Yeah.
Everything is just perfect. Another question
Mm.
that keeps on recurring with in this conference and that I saw was the idea of cause and effect, about good and bad, about
Mm.
karma,
Mm.
about this
Yeah.
character did a lot of selfless service, thinking that he would get liberation by doing a whole bunch of
Mm.
selfless service. What do you think of that? Cause and effect, bad or good, morality,
Yeah.
karma.
Yeah, that's part of the story. When there's a me, there's cause and effect, and there's karma, and there's good and bad. That's part of the whole story. And when there's no me, there's it's there's already no me. So this is not a special person with no me or something like that. That's just this is not this just body. And there when it's so obvious that there is also no time. You know what, there are a lot of things somewhere, a lot of people somewhere know, but it's so overlaid by a lot of knowing and concepts and beliefs in which we grow up. So there is no time. Time is just a thing of the abstract mind. So when there's no time, there's also no past and there's also no future. There's only this. There's also no now, because a lot of people think, oh, there's only a now. But no, that because then a now is there for someone. There is no now. There is just what's happening, and that can be moving of the hands. It's very simple thing. And when there's no time, there's also no cause and effect. There are no consequences. There are no consequences. There's no guilt. There's no responsibility. It's all in the abstract mind, in the dream of talking about, you did that to me. I am here, you are here. So there are relationships. Of course, there are no relationships because there's no me. There is never been a me. There's nowhere a me. So there are no relationships. There's just what's happening. But when there's a me, there's separation, and you think, oh, not only thinking, but there's so suddenly like, oh, there's an outside world. So there's someone there, and there's someone here. Oh, then I'm like a little child. It's not that in the mind, but it's there. So that feels like a threat. There's someone you're dependent on, and there's coming a whole survival system about pleasing people or doing the right thing so you're safe or things like that. So that's going on for a long time. So, and it's so embodied. It's not only in the mind, but it's so embodied and energetic. So that whole thing, like you do want to do different, but you can't, because that's whole energy is going in that way, and that's just life going. It has nothing to do with you are doing that. It's just life in that form. So it seems, but because we are so used in time and used to other persons, that it seems like you say something and I feel bad. So you did hurt me, and you have to do something about that, and that have consequences, and now go on and on. But when there's no me, when it's just obvious there's no me, that whole suffering, you could say, because there's a lot of suffering there, is just not there. And there can be a remark, and there can be pain, but that's just pain. It's not because of what you said. There's just pain. And it's not knowing that, oh, there is no one. So when I feel pain, I had nothing to do with you, because that's also, I did that. You say, oh, it has nothing to do with me. It's my pain. It has nothing to do with you. It's my responsibility, da, da, da. Even that is not there. There is no responsibility. It's not my pain. There can be pain, and then there's not anymore. I don't know. There's something else going on, but there's no this and that, and because of that and this and that. That's in the time. That's in the story. It's a dream. It feels very real, and it when you're so convinced, it's a lot of people, you can't talk about this because it's not even convincing, it's the truth. So don't mind, then we don't talk about that. I don't care. So yeah, but it's a lot of suffering to believe. You could say to believe that there's time, there's you and me and consequences, and oh my God, there's how do you say, justice. Oh my God, that's also a big thing. Of course, there's no justice. Everybody knows in a way, but oh, if it's happened to me, then I'm going. And that's the me is the center. The me is the center of the whole world. It's the most important part of everything. So that has to survive, and it has to be make your life work. So it's the most important thing. So when there's talking about this, it's very threatening, but it also can be how do you say relief? A relief. I know some people also that just felt relief. They didn't know why, but just there can be a relief, like, and because when concepts are falling away, yeah, it's not even noticed. That it's not that you notice there's something falling away. It's just not there. So maybe when you talk about it, you know, oh, there's something missing, but it's not there. But when it's falling away, it's not noticed. No, normally. But this also in the story, it's the same, of course. Yeah.
Thank you, Rose. I think a couple of weeks ago, I caught my fingers in the garage door.
Oh,
You see
God.
it? Yeah, yeah.
It's really, it's
Really black.
black. Yeah, wow.
2 fingers, and
Two.
then when it hit it, I didn't really make a sound, but I sat down with this intense pain, with no more filter, no more
Yeah,
story, no more
yeah,
me, kind of like
yeah,
accessing. It actually
yeah.
felt like this is a really strange feeling. It's just so
Ah,
intense and almost
yeah,
euphoric. Endorphins
yeah,
coming in,
yeah, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
this story came like, you might lose your fingers. I'm like, oh well.
Oh, oh
So
God.
there's no more attachment or stickiness to anything. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
And yeah, you're right. The suffering is just a concept as well. Can you talk
yeah.
about suffering?
Yeah, now the suffering is the whole abstract thinking about you own the pain, you own your thoughts, you own your body. So the body is also a very important thing. That the body is mine, so I have to take care of it. So there are a lot of things going on about health or how to take care. Everybody is one side, and the other side is controversy, and it's endless. There's so many people about different things about going on. What's the best thing to do? And it's because it seems like it's my body, for example. It's very important that it's going all right. So the me is very self-centered always. It's always be busy like I have to feel good. So everything what I do, it's not it's not on purpose, but everything what I do, I'm doing for myself. That's the whole thing. And some people are very strong in it, so it's really noticed, oh, there's an ego. Some people are not that strong, but still they're they are the center of everything. So when there's help, it's help because it feels good. Of course, there's something, and it's not bad. It's not bad to do, but it's self-centered. Everything is self-centered. When there's a me, it can't be differently. So when it's when the me is very important, it's also very important that it goes well, or that it's. So you think, oh, when I'm doing that, I'm going to feel okay. So, and when it's going like that, you think, I did the right thing. It feels okay. And I have to do it more and more. And then suddenly it doesn't feel okay for some reason, it seems. So I think, oh my God, that was a bad choice. And everything's going on about, oh, what did I do? And how I should have done that. And then, oh, he has done it. Oh, that's not justice. And we have to fight against it. And it's war. Maybe it's even in war. It's in between people, but it's also between countries or bigger. It's the same story, of course. And it's so much suffering because there is always I'm right and you are wrong, and I have to make it right. I have to feel. I don't want to feel pain, and if you do feel pain, now that's a pity. But I'm the most important. People won't say that because they are knowing that nobody likes it when you say I'm the most important. But in fact, I think most people think somewhere it's the most important of the whole day, where you're busy with yourself. And that's the suffering, because when there's no me, the strange thing is there's nothing going on about what's happening. So it's, in fact, you could say it's also very quiet. When there's something going on, and then you think, oh, I don't want this, or this is not right, or I had to do it better, then there's a whole suffering about I didn't do it right, and I have to do it right, and what do I? It's a whole thing, and it's just a dream, but it's very strong and very. It seems like, yeah, how do you say, like a cloud where you're in, and it's very real and tense and important, and it seems like endless, because it's looking for solutions, and maybe you find someone and find something, but it's an end. I feel like when I'm talking about, like, oh my God, what a lot of stress is it, because when there's no one, when there's just, it's so obvious, when there's no one, there can be anything. There can also be someone yelling at you, or not listening to you, or anything. And the strange thing is, there's nothing going on about that. Then maybe it's seen, or it's even not seen, and it doesn't matter. But that's it. And there can be a feeling. Then there's a feeling. But the strange thing is, when there's nothing going on about it, then that feeling isn't wrong or right. It's just feeling. And the me is only thinking like, oh, there's a good feeling. This is good feelings, like happiness. And this is a bad feeling, like pain, or maybe anger. So, but there's nothing, there is no good or wrong. That's something of the abstract mind of the people, of humans. That's just what's happening. That's it. It's very simple, very normal, in fact. Yeah. So no suffering there. But pain can happen, of course. That's something else. That has nothing to do with suffering.
Yeah, pain is painful, but it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with suffering.
Yeah.
When I sat there, I was like, wow, that's really painful. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And then even after, you know what I'm saying? Because it was sore, right? Pain still
Yeah.
happened, but it
Yeah.
was just painting.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no more story behind that pain.
Yeah.
There's no
And
more
it can be
me.
really like, God, it is painful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
Sure.
I saw stars and I was like, wow, I can
Oh,
lose my fingers.
God. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
But there
sure.
was
Sure.
laughter about after that. I was like, oh, this is what pain is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or even categorizing that as pain is already, putting a
Yeah.
concept of what pain is. But you understand
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. It's just
Yeah, and the
what's
strange thing is,
happening.
what I know but when it's noticed, when there's pain, or when I burned my hand a long time ago, and there was just that strong pain, but it was there and it wasn't in the same time. It wasn't there also. I was like, it
That's
was where
right.
it was
Yeah, yeah.
like a wondering, like, what is going on? It's amazing. Yeah. Hmm.
Rose, what is life?
What is life? My God, life is just everything. Life is it's energy. You could say it's energy, and it seems like circumstances and bodies, and it's aliveness. It's alive. It's energy. It's atoms like this, and that's aliveness, and that's wow. What is life? It's everything. Everything is life. Also stones or anything. And it's just, yeah, what seems to go on, it's just, it's light going, light falling on particles, you could say, or particles or atoms or quarks or things like that. And then it shows a whole world and circumstances. It's like an amazing thing, like, and it's real and unreal, but it seems like, oh my God, it's a miracle. It's mysterious. How can it be like that? And it's in the same time it feels very addicting, fascinating. Like, oh, this is because when the separation is there, then everything is so solid, and its life is just always moving. It's just energy. It's not solid or real. Yeah, what is life? God, it's a difficult word, difficult question.
Is nothing permanent?
No, nothing is permanent. No, that's it. Yeah, yeah, of course. Everything is new. Everything is new. Well, of course. There's no time, so it's new, and not new in the way of it. Oh, it's fresh new. It's just new. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah.
I think I was walking down the street and I was like, nothing is permanent. And it was just so free. I'm like, nothing is permanent. And I was just probably look like a fool walking down the street, smiling, kind of like, looking
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Talking
Wow.
about that,
Yeah.
when this apparent happening happened, that happened,
Yeah.
was there a change in the character? Did people notice something different?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, I know.
That was a funny thing because
Yeah.
I was convinced that would happen, and I would be seen, and people in the supermarket would turn and think, oh, what's going on there? No, nothing is going on about that. No, I have a lot of friends, though I don't even speak about it. I don't think they notice. No.
Yeah, that's with this too. I thought that I was going to shout to the mountaintops, I have
Yeah,
reached the pinnacle, and here I am. And then when it
yeah,
apparently happened, everything was just normal.
yeah.
And I think I attempted to talk to a friend that is spiritual about
Mm,
this, and
mm.
midway through it, I'm like, I don't really see a point in talking about this.
Ah, yeah.
It's just normal, or I don't even talk to my family about it. Do you talk to
Mm.
anyone about it at all, like your family, your
Yeah,
friends?
my husband. I have children, but I don't know. Maybe they notice. I don't know. No, I don't think
Talk
so.
you talk to about your children about non-duality?
Yeah, my youngest may sometimes. The other ones are not. They're more into therapy and things like that. So I talk with them about that. It's nice. I can do that. It doesn't matter. But I have my younger son. I think he has more an openness for that somewhere. He has been to Tony Parsons too, so there's something going. But in the same time, he's really involved in everything. So sometimes we talk about this. Yeah, but not so many friends. It's my husband, but and few friends, but not so much. No, I think the only moment it's in meetings that I'm talking about it. Normal, I'm not so much talking about this. No, but what I notice also is that in the beginning, I don't. There was a couple of years. I don't know how many years ago, and then I couldn't speak about it. There were no words that I couldn't. So after some years, then that those people we were talking about it, and then we started those little meetings, and then there's still a lot of years already I do those meetings, small meetings, and then what I noticed, and when I'm talking to a friend, it's much more normal. It's much more easy to give words on it. So it's not the words of there is no me or things like that. It's just more in the normal way of talking. So it's more normal. It's more, I don't know, more embodied, or I don't know how to say, but in that sense, you could see in the story, you could think about the development in that sense, because in the beginning there wasn't, but now it's so normal and so obvious. maybe it's becoming more obvious and more normal, and it's more easy to talk in normal words, just no words of non-duality or things like that. I don't like those words also. I never liked all those difficult words. So
What words are they? Let's talk about those words.
ah
What
what words?
words? I don't know. People talk about awareness, consciousness.
Oh my God. Yeah, I didn't. I was, when I was a seeker, I heard about a lot of things about non-dualism, and I couldn't understand that word, and awareness. I didn't know what it was. There's awareness and there's consciousness. I couldn't understand the difference. And I couldn't. And there was also Buddhism. Now, that was too complicated. So a lot of things, a lot of people can talk, and then now after a few sentences, I'm lost. I'm just lost. I can't follow it anymore. So I'm not so in those words or in those explaining things. I can't. So I can't hear it either when people talk like that. Some people can explain things. I can't follow. It's so complicated. So when I'm giving a talk in the beginning of the Zoom meetings, I can't do a very long talk, then maybe 5-10 minutes. And in the conversation, then it's coming. So that's more my way, I think. So that's how it goes here.
It's almost like because there's nothing to talk about.
No, but when there are questions,
But questions happen, and
coming
it's
up something.
yeah.
That's nice. But then if they're not, yeah, so what?
I noticed a lot of the speakers that were in the conference. I know I keep on talking about the conference. You know, we wish you were there. You know, everyone was. You know, not everyone, but a lot of people asked about you. How come Rose is not there? And I think I tried looking for you. But anyway, one of the things that kept on coming up was Tony Parsons. I think half of the speakers, you know, came from Tony Parsons or have gone to a meeting. Can you? Why is that? And you know, why do so many speakers?
I think he started with, for me, he was the start of those meetings. When I was giving therapy, there was someone coming to my therapy, and he gave me a book. And he said, maybe you should go to that man, because there's already something going on in the same way. He talks. So I went for him in Amsterdam. And I was completely shocked. He was just so normal. I was going to some teachers, and there was a lot of going on when they came in, and everybody has to be silent and things like that. I didn't like that so much, but that was the way it did. The most teachers did. And he was just, everybody was talking. It was a little group, and everybody was talking. And he came in. Nobody stopped talking. And so I was like, oh, no. And he was just sitting, waiting till it went silent. And then he started talking, and I didn't understand, but I felt so much, how do you say, anxiety. Frightened. I was so frightened. I don't know how to say, but there was so much fear that was going on. And then I couldn't understand, but some way I knew this is what I'm looking for. I don't know why, but that was like that. I immediately was sort of recognition somewhere, but in the same time I thought, oh, he has to stop. He has to stop, but this is too frightening. So, but I went going on for a long time. Because what I liked also about him is what he said. The way he lived, he did live, or he did do. It was the same as what he was talking about. So it was the same. So he wasn't talking about doing this or not doing that. It was just normal, and he was very normal and approachable and sitting between us and not special. I was never thinking about him as a person. Never. That's amazing, because most teachers I was busy with how he do that and how he do. I never was. So I was like, huh? That's strange. So I wasn't going to another one. Oh, it's just Tony for me. For me, it's just, yeah. it was a long time, I think, maybe 15, 20 years. I don't know, maybe a very long time. Yeah. And I'm an organizer for him. So I go in Holland, I'm just going there. But I like it. It's always, I like it. I like the way he speaks. It's very clear and uncompromising. I like the uncompromising part. I love it. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, me too. He's doing a retreat with us. I don't know if you saw the video.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
that.
So he's going to do a 2-day retreat in November,
Yeah,
and that's going to be fun because I'm going to be
yeah,
there in between.
yeah, yeah.
I've never been to a meeting with Tony,
Ah,
but
ah,
I remember seeing my first video of Tony. It's
yeah.
like, when you take your very first roller coaster, you're afraid,
Yeah, yeah,
but after you take your first roller coaster, you want to line up again. You're like,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah. Sure,
right.
you want to go on, and in the same time, oh my God, yeah,
I
yeah,
can't believe this. This
yeah,
is
yeah,
too much. It's too
yeah.
much.
That's funny.
And I used to get frustrated
Yeah,
at
that's it for
watching
me
some of the
too.
videos, and I would even scream. And I would turn off my laptop, my MacBook, and then walk away. I'm like, this is so frustrating. The me was very
Mm,
triggered. I
yeah,
guess the me was very, how do you
yeah,
call it? Scared. It's a
yeah.
very scary message that
Yes,
there is
sure, I
no
was.
me.
Sure. And I thought I understood everything. And I was going to Tony's meeting and I thought, oh, I know what he's going to say and things like that. So I was very clear about the message. And then I was in a meeting and then suddenly that whole knowing fell away. And I was like, oh my God. So that felt like a hole to know. And then it felt so no, not empty, but you could say free, but it was also very frightening. So I didn't like it, but it was also a relief. That's the same as that first meeting. Yeah. A lot of those moments that I thought, oh, this I know, and it's very, and then suddenly it fell away, and I like left with nothing. So I had a lot of those things go in, in my life.
I think I must have watched like Jim, Tony, Andreas, Naho
Mm,
over and over and over again. And
yeah,
the me thought that it got it. The me
yeah,
was
yeah,
frustrated at one point.
yeah,
The me was like, okay, I understand this now. I
yeah,
understand this
yeah,
concept. And then I think
yeah.
when it apparently happened, I was just DJing for 4 hours. I sat
Ah,
down and I was like, what happened? Everything
yeah,
seemed normal.
yeah,
I'm seeing everything, like seeing everything for the first time,
yeah,
but it's also familiar. Does that make
yeah,
sense? It's like everything
yeah, yeah,
is
yeah, sure, yeah,
ordinary,
yeah.
and then there is like a little dust out. I'm like, that's a dust. There's a dust here.
Yeah.
It's like
Amazing.
it's like walking around for a long, long time
Yeah,
with no glasses. I know you wear glasses,
yeah.
and putting your
Oh,
glasses, like,
yeah.
oh,
Oh
wow,
God. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just that it's just a really subtle.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
it's just kind of
Oh,
like, is this it? It's
yeah.
just kind of like there's almost like an excitement that this is it,
Yeah.
but also
Yeah.
a bit of like, oh, is this it?
Yeah. 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 I felt somewhere as a disappointment also because I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
there
that's
was
what I
more.
mean. Yeah,
Wow.
there was a big wow, like
Yeah.
wow, and then after it apparently settles, and you're like, oh wow, this
Yeah.
is just it.
Yeah.
There's no trumpets and angels. I'm not floating off the
No.
ground. I'm like, what
No.
the hell?
Yeah. It
And
was.
everybody wants this.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What you want this? Yeah, oh, wow. Yeah, that's
it's
great.
it's such a it's such a like a big joke. It was just
Yeah,
such a big joke. And I think and I watched Tony again in Jim and some of the videos, and I was just laughing, and I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
this is just so ridiculous,
yeah, yeah. I
right?
can imagine.
I
Oh,
don't think
wow.
I don't think Tony's ridiculous, but it's just what he's saying is just completely
Yeah,
true. It's just like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I was
Ah,
trying to mystify it before. I'm like, oh,
yeah, yeah.
maybe if I practice the know me practice. Did you try to do that too? Did you try to conceptualize it as well?
Yeah, sure. I did try that. I felt that I thought, oh, I think this is not me. Oh my God. Yeah, of course.
Yes, some would say that isn't the no me just another story of the me?
Uh, yeah, people can say that. I don't care. You can't say it for sure. You can't convince somebody that it's true, something like that. They can hear the message or not. That's it. And there's nobody. So who am I talking to? So I don't care. If somebody says that, yeah, then they don't believe it, or maybe I don't know. That can be, of course. I think a lot of people won't believe it, or I can't explain that. They think, oh, that's another story again. No, they think that. That's all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
to for this, it was just, it's just so clear, right?
Yeah.
That it's almost
Yeah.
like that this is not in the story anymore. This is
No, it's not.
beyond the story. People might think that's another concept, but it's just
Yeah,
beyond and
sure.
beyond and beyond. It's just, it's
Mm,
like
yeah.
I don't even know it's so hard to explain, Rose. It's
But
so,
there's nothing going on. And
yeah,
that's the weird thing. We are so convinced we are real. This is a real body. I am in it, and there's a real life and a real world. And then somebody is saying there's nothing going on. Come on, that's too weird. Of course, I can imagine that you think what's there? What's that person for kind of strange person saying that? Of course. Well, yeah, but God, but in the same time, I think, oh my God, it's amazing that nothing is real and everything goes on. I'm watching television and doing things and whatever. So in that sense, nothing has changed. But
yeah,
there's much more joy. There's
there
relief.
is.
There's more joy. Like, yeah, more. I think the character is more blossoming in the sense like I don't care. And I was really I was very how do you say, withdrawn. So that's maybe that change I could say, I don't know, but that there's more fun. I don't care
Yeah,
what people see or think, or I'm not, it's not that I think, oh, I'm not caring, because a lot of people say that, of course. But there's nothing going on about that. It's just when there's dancing, there's just dancing.
yeah, that's
When
so
my
true.
husband doesn't, I'm coming in the room and my husband doesn't look up. So I'm dancing. Yesterday I was dancing and then suddenly he looks up and I think, okay, now I have your attention. Like, oh, that's just silly things.
Yeah, there is so much joy. I find myself dancing more too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I dance on the street, walking my dog, and not just giving a care. And then
Yeah.
also the flip side of that, when my aunt passed away, I
Ah,
cried and I sobbed so hard because there's
mm.
no more filter,
Yeah.
right? Before
Ah,
I would
yeah.
puff up my chest, I'll be like, it's okay,
Ah,
I'm
yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah. Yeah,
But
yeah. So,
but this time around, it was like, I
oh,
could not. I was just crying and
yeah,
crying. It
yeah.
was just, it was,
Yeah,
um,
just let it out. Yeah.
yeah, it was just, and then also with I pretended to be reserved before, but now I just laugh at the silliest things.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
it's
You
just so
pretend that you're. I was always. I have to be. I'm a fiery person, so I thought, has to be quiet,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't have to. When I'm talking, I don't like this because then they see you're maybe a little bit nervous. So I can't show that. And oh my God, there were so many things going on about that. And now it's not even in my mind. Maybe I do it. Maybe I'm not doing it. I don't know. It's very
Or
easy.
yeah, it's
It's
the
very
sadness.
easy.
Sadness is deeper, and then the
Ah,
joy is also more blissful. It's
yeah,
just it's just no more pretension, no more
yeah,
pretending.
the pretending is not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. There's a
It's
lot.
like it's like the character is liberated. It's just
Yeah,
like it's free to do
yeah,
whatever it wants without,
yeah,
um
yeah. And there's nothing going on about this is better to do than
no,
that.
no, no.
Something like that. That's that's a lot of people think then, because I thought too, when there's a me, there's always something going on. This is, maybe I could better do this, or this is better to, I had more to sit down with my feet on the ground, or all those concepts. I had so many, and when I don't even know what I'm doing. If I was this evening. I thought, heb ik een mooi skirt, and I wanted to go outside and to do it on, and I thought like, oh, and then suddenly it was noticed. It was upside down. So good. It's like, yeah, that's really the character, and that's I can't.
Yeah, the character is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah,
The character
yeah,
is
it's
just so
amazing.
fascinating. It's
Yeah,
gonna like, I'm like,
a
oh
lot of
wow.
things going on, and there's silly things too. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's just the unconditional. Well, that seems, it's almost like the unconditional acceptance. That seems like doing something, but it's just
Mm,
whatever is happening, and it's just
yeah.
so freeing to have
Mm,
that. Oh wow, it's almost an hour.
okay. Oh yeah.
I could
Yeah.
talk to you for hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just like laugh and everything.
Yeah.
So Noel is interviewing you for Nothing Live coming up on October 23, next Friday.
23. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
coming Friday, actually, this coming
Yeah.
Friday, right?
Friday. Yeah. Yeah.
That should be fun. It's a 2 hour. There's Q&A.
Yeah. It will
I
be
just
nice.
wanted to do an interview with you to meet you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to
Great.
meet you. It's really fun. We should talk
Yeah.
more. We should
Yeah.
just
Oh, nice. I like it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just fun. We can
Yeah.
talk about dancing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Sure.
The unconditional dancing, or just you can't stop
Yeah.
dancing.
I'm really not a dancer, but it's just.
I am, but I was one of those
uh,
choreographed, like I know all the
Oh yeah.
dance moves, but now
Ah.
it's just being silly.
Ah.
Everything is just silly. Um, so thank you, Rose. I'm going to pause this right now.